We are making it so. Here is the part where we've made it so.
Okay.
Starts in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS. Oh, did I wait? Okay, we're good. I had to make sure we were recording.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS. Mess. Ah, shit. Let's try that again. 3, I have the baton firmly in my butt.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Hello.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, it's time for tea.
Well, that was an odd dream.
She's totally old enough.
Rat cyborgs are coming.
Yeah, I misspelled that.
Yeah, I love it, though. I like the cyborgs.
You can fight me with a lightsaber.
What do Thor and Hulk Hogan have in common?
Therapy Thursday and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
Come on, you guys. It's only a little.
Giant! A hungry giant!
Hungry for a big honey taste.
Honeycomb big! Yeah! Big, big crust! Big, big bite!
Honeycomb cereal, part of this big, complete breakfast.
Honeycomb big, big bite! Yeah!
Oh, please tell me you're okay, Jason. I am.
I don't care. This is the morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS. It is the morning stream, February 21st, 2019. I'm Scott Johnson. There be Brian Ibbett.
Yeah. I was all set to sing along with that honeycomb theme, but they did it was like a different lyric than the one I remember. It was honeycomb's big. Yeah. It's not small.
No. Yeah, that's what I remember as well. That was like a weird variation on that.
That's some that's some Burt Bacharach level lyric writing right there.
Yep. It's pretty good. Also, I loved those commercials because at the end they would say part of this big nutritious breakfast, and the breakfast itself is like eggs and bacon and pancakes.
Right, I mean, part of this balanced breakfast, and it's like every breakfast item ever invented on one plate, like in one sitting.
Yeah, it's super annoying because I never knew what to believe. Like, is the cereal okay to eat on its own, Mom? Oh, sure, it's fine. But in the commercial, there's like 3 different juices and like an extra fork for I don't know why. Like they got a whole spread.
Well, that's for the coddled egg that's right next to your fried egg.
Ah.
That's nestled gently on top of your pancakes, which are to the right of the bacon just south of the bowl of cereal.
Is a coddled egg a real thing? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Describe to me what a coddled egg is. What do we got there?
It's like a soft boiled egg.
Okay.
It's just cooked enough. There's a place in Vegas called Egg Sled at Cosmopolitan that does this. So it's like just cooked enough to where it's not going to kill you, but it's out of the shell. It's not like a soft boiled egg where it's in the shell.
Okay. That sounds terrible, by the way. None of this sounds good. I don't want this.
It has to be done. It has to be done right for it to be good. The Egg Sled is excellent. Like the way Egg Sled does it, because it's like
Egg Sled.
They've got a Egg Sled. It's really called Egg Sled.
I have so many questions that keep coming up, and I'll try not to veer off. Sorry, Egg Sled, whatever that may be. Tell me more about this.
So Egg Sled is this restaurant in Las Vegas.
Okay.
In the Cosmopolitan, and basically their main item is this is a coddled egg in a mason jar.
Okay.
With potato underneath and like chives and stuff on top. Here we go. Cage-free coddled egg on top of a smooth potato puree, poached in a glass jar, topped with gray salt and chives, served with slices of baguette.
Baguette, like French bread, yeah, like
French
a baguette.
bread, yeah.
Okay.
That was the part that stalled you. The baguette?
No. I was expecting more weird, like served with a side of the horse testicles or something weird, right? But it's not. Right. It sounds like it's pretty normal other than this weird preparation. Is that a Frenchy thing to do? Like to barely cook your egg? Like, oh, we only want to barely cook it so that you don't get the salmonella, but you get what it would taste like if you did have the salmonella. Oui, oui.
Right. And really the way you eat this thing, or the way you eat this thing, is by stirring the whole thing up. Well, at least the way I eat is stirring the whole thing up. So it's a mixture of the potato and the egg and the salt, and then you dip the bread into it, and then you dip the bread into it again. That's how it's done.
Okay, that sounds all right, actually. You've convinced
John
me.
Florida 1968 says, in cooking, coddled eggs are eggs that are gently or lightly cooked in water just below boiling temperature in or out of the shell or other container. They can be partially cooked, mostly cooked, or hardly cooked at all, as in the eggs used to make Caesar salad dressing, which are only slightly poached for a thicker end product. Poached eggs are a type of coddled egg cooked in water.
I didn't know this
so
about
I always thought that
Caesar
poached
salads.
Eggs were...
Ugh,
What's
gross.
that?
I didn't know that about Caesar salads. That's all new to me.
Yeah.
I'm not eating that again. If you're barely cooking it, F you. I don't want that.
Between tartare and steak tartare and coddled eggs, I think the French just don't like cooking stuff. Like they're impatient or something.
Yeah, you always hear about fine French cooking. No, call it what it is. Fine French raw ass ingredients. Because none of that's cooked.
I know. I guarantee you 100% Tina will never. I think we even when we were staying at Cosmo, I went downstairs to get breakfast eggs to bring back up to the room.
Yeah.
And I described this to her, and she's like, "Yeah, no, bring me one of their egg sandwiches."
Yeah, bring a proper egg.
Because they do have a really good, like they have a bacon, egg, and cheese, and a sausage, egg, and cheese. Oh, listen to this one. Ready?
Yeah.
This is the gaucho.
Okay.
Seared Wagyu tri-tip steak, cage-free over medium egg, chimichurri, red onions, and dressed arugula in a warm brioche bun.
Okay, that actually sounds good.
That sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah, I'd eat that. I'd put that in my mouth and smoke it. I sure would.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, there's your coddled egg. Part of a nutritious, balanced breakfast.
Yeah, there you go. Make sure that includes
with a side of gray salt and some pureed potato.
Yeah, and a bowl of honeycomb. Make that part of your morning.
Oh yeah.
All right,
That's Kool-Aid.
we're gonna. Speaking of breakfast, sometimes you get up and you have a little coffee with your breakfast. Sometimes, some of you, the more perhaps discerning palates, get up and have a little tea in the morning. Well, let's find out. Oh, you know what would be good?
Let's see if you actually pulled her into the conversation.
No, I'm doing it now, but the problem is I don't have her actual username. Hold on a second.
I think Ashley and I would be very compatible dining friends. Like, if I lived in New York or Ashley lived out here in Colorado, I think we'd go and eat a lot of the same weird food together.
Yeah.
When I was describing this stuff that I had at the French restaurant last weekend, Ashley was all over it, and she's even the stuff I was describing today. She's like, "Yeah, that sounds great."
Yeah, I mean, sure. You're gonna find weirdos everywhere you go. So I understand.
We already know we like that weird version of The Punisher that we watched for Film Sack, because she was the only person I ever let watch a Film Sack movie with us besides my wife and of course the three of you guys.
Yeah.
I let her in. She was part of the inner circle for that one moment, for that one shining 2-hour moment.
Wow. A 2-hour moment.
A 2-hour moment where we watched Dolph Lundgren get all greased up and be the Punisher.
Yeah, that was a good time. I remember all of that very fondly. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk more about tea. How are we going to do it? We're going to do it with our friend Gwen. She is on the line. And all the way from beautiful mountain town place I forgot the name of, Montana.
Red Lodge.
Yes,
Red Lodge, Montana.
there it is.
Red Lodge.
Gwen, how are you? What's your morning like? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I've got a hot cup of tea, and I walked in the snow. It is daintily snowing powder outside.
Do you get up in the morning and just go, I'm going to fill my whole soul with just nothing but liquid tea, blah, 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 blah. Like you just go nuts in the morning or what?
When I get to work. I do.
All right, fair enough.
I'm typically too lazy to make it at home. I make it when I have all the apparatuses at work.
Oh, that's true. So that's a big difference between people at home and a tea shop like yours. People at home have got some crappy thing they got at Target. And at your place, you got weird steam valves and all kinds of like mnemonic devices That's
Well,
not
you
a
probably
word.
use that same tea thing that you sent Scott and I, right? Like that really cool tea
Oh,
steeper.
yeah.
I love that thing. That is
Yeah, the Ingenuities. Yeah.
the ingenuity. That is the greatest tea invention, in my opinion, since
would you
the
call it a-
little Death Star tea bulb, or what do they call
Would
it?
you call it, Brian, a tea? You called it a tea stapler? You called it?
Steeper, a tea
Oh,
steeper.
steeper.
An infuser is the industry term.
Is it okay? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not a diffuser, an infuser.
Yeah, diffusers are for like putting stinky oil around the house or whatever it is.
Yes.
Right? So I've got a quick thing that's kind of fun. I didn't know this, but Carter a few years ago, my second child, picked up a teapot that is this cast iron teapot, but it's painted and looks like it's maybe porcelain or something. But it weighs like 1,000 pounds. Like, this thing is so heavy, but it's this little dainty, cute little teapot. And when you lift up the top, instead of just pouring water in there, there's like a little steeper thing in there.
A little basket.
Yeah, a little basket. And so that's what I did last night for the Sleepy Time Aragon's Wish tea.
Dreams of Erebus?
Dreams of Erebus.
Aragon's Nightmare, I think is what he called it yesterday.
It was Aragorn yesterday.
Aragorn's Nightmare.
Aragorn's Nightmare.
Today's Aragon's Wish. Anyway, I put that, that's how we did it, and it was fantastic. It was so good out of that thing.
Yeah.
It was better than the poopy paper thing I was using the day before. Never use your poopy paper to make tea, by the way.
No.
Bad filter.
I don't condone that.
No, and I wouldn't if I were you
That's
either.
a refuser. Not an infuser or a diffuser, but a refuser.
So, Phoenix Pearl, an amazing shop and all of that. Why? And people are going, well, okay, this is all great. Why are you talking this morning? Well, we're talking this morning because on our Patreon, we have a brand new level. It's actually been there for a while. We haven't made a huge deal out of it yet. But today we make a big deal out of it because Gwen runs the shop that will be making these not custom, it's a better word, crafted teas.
Hand-picked.
Yeah, here's one. Hold on. I'm gonna hold one up. Okay.
I can almost certainly guarantee they're handpicked.
Hey, World of Warcraft fans, look what I got. The Dead Mines Ginger Black Tea. Hey, does that sound familiar? You spend a little time in there with your tunes? Well, I got good news for you. A dry, arid blend like the depths of the long-abandoned mine. Ginger and black tea with a hint of lemongrass. Dry, spicy. It takes well to a tiny bit of sugar. And then all these organic ingredients. Like, I don't know how you do any of this. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it tastes so good. I don't know why I slept so good last night. I just know they're good. So people should go check this out. Now, when you make a tea, how do you do it? Like, how do you know to put all that shite together? How do you know that list of ingredients is the right list of ingredients?
It's because I'm a alchemist, Scott.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's freaking fantastic.
I've been doing it for 7 years, so it kind of just comes to me.
Okay, how about this one? Morning
You do something
Star.
long enough.
How about a Mexican vanilla masala chai? Oh man, you're speaking my language
I
here.
love that one.
So good.
This is the one you like, right, Brian? This is the one you
It
really
is.
like.
It's one of the ones I like. There was when it was in season, the pumpkin masala chai was my absolute dabomb.com. That was the one that I was always. It was dabomb.com, man. I've been talking too much to Andrew Allen, I guess, because I'm saying stuff like on fleek and dabomb.com.
Yeah, you need to let him know he's about a decade behind in his
I
phrases.
think exactly. Put down the avocado toast. Start playing piano.
Yeah,
But,
get back on the piano, buddy.
No, but that one, the pumpkin masala, was my all-time favorite. So whenever that's in season, that's going to be my.
What impresses me is you're super good with all the flavored parts and making all this stuff work together, but the flavor text is also good. Morning Star, named for the Teutonic legend of vanilla, our vanilla masala is as true to form as we could manage. Vanilla, black tea, and spices. It's all good, and I got a giant box of these. And we're going to give some away as well. So thanks for that, by the way, Gwen, for sending all those.
Yeah, absolutely. The Morning Star there is really good. That's one of our newest. We just put that out like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I do a ton of research into each of the blends to try to get an appropriate name for each one, an appropriate story. The Morning Star is literally built on the Teutonic legend of where vanilla came from. The Teutonics were the one that discovered it.
Oh, that's so cool. See, what do you do? You're like a scholar and a tea maker. Like, what a cool combination. You could come at this and just go, yeah, it's black tea with a pinch of something in it. Like,
Right.
but you've gone all in.
I was 2 classes away from getting a degree in anthropology, so I kind of drop a little bit of that into it.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so here's another one. The Velvet Twilight. That's
the one I got your daughter.
Yeah, I haven't given it to her yet, but she's going to love it. Bourbon Chocolate Cake Honey Bush. That was my stripper name in high school. I don't know if anyone knew that.
Well, just the Honey Bush, and then you added on those other names to.
Oh yeah, no, that was
for bigger tips.
That was later, right? In the beginning, it was just Honey Bush.
Just Honey Bush. Yeah.
It says more in the vein of a chocolate cake than a chocolate tea, and then it has notes of bourbon. Oh, you guys, seriously, I want to go make it now. Look at this thing. All right, so yeah, go ahead, Brian.
I'm looking at the interiors of the shop too. This is the other cool thing about this is that this would be a place not just where I would go and pick up bags of tea if I lived in Carbon County, right next door to the Carbon County News. Oh my gosh,
they're in our old space.
Oh, are they? Okay. But you've got games and stuff. Like you've got board games, a ton of tabletop games. Do you guys get events where people come and do tabletop games and drink tea?
Tonight. Every Thursday.
Really? Oh, that's so cool.
Every single Thursday.
I'd be there.
We're open late. We're open 5
If we lived
to 9.
in Montana mountains, guess what Brian and I would be doing tonight?
Oh yeah, we'd be right there.
Holy shit.
You both are you're cordially invited to come and check it out.
Oh, believe me, it's not the lack of invitation that's kept us from from visiting.
It's a lot of other reasons.
It's miles of distance, but
and the much
if
snow.
you come here, you'll never want to leave. It's a gorgeous
I know.
place.
I'm looking at photos of the town. Like there's some great photos of it on Wikipedia. Just like it really is. It looks like the perfect little hometown, like Bedford Falls meets wherever it was that Marty McFly was living, Hill Valley. It's all those things.
Oh, and these photos of the teas. Oh, you guys got to go check it out. All right, one other nice little hint we can give about something cool coming up. What you do with your kind of flavor language and a little bit of lore behind the tea, that sort of thing. It turns out that fits really, really well with There Will Be Dungeons. And so we have a whole line coming of There Will Be Dungeons specific teas. Mine's called Nash's Firebolt, which is awesome. It's my most common spell. I use it all the frickin' time because it's a cantrip and it's cheap.
Firebolt. Do you say that when you use it?
No, but if I was near you and I had a handful of rocks, that's what I would do.
You will be happy to know, Scott, that blend that I'm giving you there is the most popular tea in our entire shop.
Look at that!
Get out, really?
Look at that! Take that, Vorel. Everyone, John, Bo, screw you guys. I got the coolest one. Yeah.
It's classic. It's cinnamon, orange, and clove with an herbal base. It's incredibly tasty.
Yeah. I can't wait to try it.
Like if you've had that, there's cinnamon orange cheese all over the damn place. Your Market Spice or whatever the Colorado company is, I forget.
Yeah.
But
super cool. I'm
Celestial Seasonings.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about those. We got a whole bunch of those coming. So I guess if you're watching TWBD, then you're going to hear all about those this weekend. We're going to make a big fancy announcement about it. And people can get those right away. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to... Look, if you do that Patreon level, that's awesome. Because you're going to get tea on a regular basis. Every month you get tea. And it's select blend stuff and all that. It's going to be amazing. So there's that.
Different months every month.
Yeah, or if you're like, I don't know, Scott, I don't know if I can swing it. Then I'm going to say, get on over to phoenixpearltea.com and go check out what they have and get some for yourself then. One way or the other way, you got to get some of this in your life because it's amazing. And I was never much of a tea guy. Give me a chai because it's kind of desserty usually. But generally speaking, everything I've ever had is like, oh, that's a bitter, tasting, nasty thing you handed me. Not these, though. None of those are like that. Or if they are, they're meant to be, and they're like, got some fancy reason for being on the bitter side or whatever. Like, they're really good. So, full recommendation from us. Go check it out.
Thank you.
Gwen, anything else before we go? Anything else you want to mention that I've forgotten?
I figure I should probably tell people what they'll be getting in the box this month.
Yeah. Do that.
Secret.
Yeah, do that. What are we getting?
So this week or this month, if you get the Patreon box for March, you are going to get a single estate Vietnamese black tea. We call it Good Morning Vietnam. It is, okay, I lied. It's not single estate. It's cooperative estate. It comes from a series of estates that are all they all come together and they all basically pool their resources, blend it for a consistent flavor, and split the profits. So it's a super cool thing. Brian, you've definitely had it, I know for sure.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's the smoothest. It's one of the smoothest black teas I've ever had. Like it's smooth and convincing, like a black tea.
No, that's awesome. Wait, so when you say it's a multiple estate, you're talking about like tea growers, tea farms in Vietnam.
Yeah,
are all
Northern Vietnam.
North Vietnam, really interesting. Yeah. So they all come together and go, forget about the 60s. That war was stupid. Here's some rad tea. And then they just ship that off to everybody.
Basically, like 50 farms all come together like, oh, we're all too poor to send tea to America where it's going to sell a ton of money. So if we all pool it together and give it to this company that's going to mix it and sell it, we all get money. We all get that sweet America money we're not getting otherwise.
No, yeah, right, exactly. So how much? I had another question about where this stuff comes from. Like, that's a point of authenticity, right? Like you would not have it any other way for all your lines. Like wherever it needs to come from, if it's a Mexican masala, you're not just saying that. Like that stuff comes from Mexico. Yeah,
we use vanilla bean and natural vanilla extract that we ourselves picked up in Cabo San Lucas.
Oh, that's awesome. So Carter made a vanilla extract from vodka. It was the best day ever because we had to go, because that's where you get vanilla from, right? So we go to we went to a liquor store, and Carter's 21 now, and I can't remember if she went in or just Kim or both of us, or I can't remember how it went, but we don't drink here at the Johnson house. It's just not a thing we do. But Carter's in there buying this big ass bottle of vodka and taking that freaking thing home in a huge bag, and it was all just to make vanilla extract, which is it was kind of a hoot. She was,
that's a thing.
She was
that's
embarrassed.
Absolutely a thing.
Well, anyway, this is fantastic.
The second blend. Second blend you'll be getting. Is a what's called a Wayusa. I think Brian was talking about it a couple weeks ago. It is, if you've ever heard of yerba mate, it's a pretty popular drink right now. It's a Wayusa is a sister plant to it. They're the same genus but different species. This one's native to the jungles of Ecuador, and it tastes like a green tea. It has the same caffeine as a cup of black coffee. Legit, like literally.
That sounds good.
It is 85, 90 milligrams of caffeine per cup. Super easy to make. It'll never oversteep. It's sweet. It's earthy. It's amazing. I freaking love this stuff. Which
and it works. You know, I throw a little cream, a little Splenda in there, and boom, Bob's my uncle. Yep,
Bob is
your uncle. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love these photos, by the way, of the tea up close. It's awesome. My gosh.
I know. I'm actually the photo of the board with the cheese and bread and sausage and stuff on there is really making me hungry. I'm not gonna lie.
Next time you come up, we have a bratwurst custom made for us with smoked black tea, cinnamon, and black walnut.
Shut up! Oh, that sounds so good. Is that what I'm seeing here with all the bread and cheese boards here? This image.
Oh yeah,
Look
we do
at
those.
That.
When you crack open into your There Will Be Dungeons teas, I'll do a little preview here for you. That smoked black tea, cinnamon, black walnut blend. Look out for the Fate 4. That is what it's called.
I have one of those right over here.
Yes, you do.
Somewhere.
That is for you to drink. That's not to give away. That's all for you. So crack it open and give it a sniff, It's like barbecued tea.
I'm just gonna chew it. I'm gonna chew it raw. I'm not even gonna put water in it. I'm just gonna eat these bags. It's probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not gonna do
that. The third one you're gonna get, the last one you're gonna get, 3 different teas, is we call the Magic Missile. It is hibiscus and rose hips with sour cherry extract soaked into freeze dried apple. It tastes, I mean, it has this just brilliant bursting sour cherry in it, and like I call it the Magic Missile because it never misses. Like, everybody loves it.
Oh, nice.
What's the caffeine level on that one? Like, is that a good afternoon tea? None. Okay, so that's a nighttime. Yeah.
It's a sleepy time.
Afternoon, nighttime. Some people don't do very well with caffeine. Some people, like I have a large audience that has ADHD, and caffeine affects them differently. And some people need to drink herbals first thing in the morning because if they drink caffeine, it'll make them crash.
Oh, that's interesting. They'll actually have a... Like it creates focus for some, and for others,
yes, it creates focus for me. I have ADHD. I have the hyperactive in my head where I can't stop thinking about 10 things at once, and So it like large amounts of caffeine give me tunnel vision and let me focus on something.
Yeah, it's like your own.
I had one of my employees
Adderall.
had the other kind, and he could not drink caffeine or he would fall asleep.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm kind of I can't do caffeine. Well, caffeine will keep me up and freak me out at night, so I can't do it at night, and I have crazy dreams, and it's just bad. But in the day, I come to think of it, if I drink something like that in the morning, I focus more because I have the same problem. It's just 20 things at once going on right now that I'm thinking of, and I need focus, man.
That's how my head is.
All right, well, this has been a blast. I hope things continue to go well for you. We will get out there one day and see this place.
For sure.
Play some magic or do something. But in the meantime...
Well, we, like he mentioned yesterday, we're doing a remodel in April. We're doing a full-scale remodel. It's going to look goddamn amazing in here. And y'all should come up and check out my lovely little mountain town and check us out. We're at the foot of Yellowstone. So go to Yellowstone with your family and pop over the mountain pass, and you'll be in Red Lodge.
Oh, my gosh. I wonder...
There we go. That's the way to do it.
I wonder if my brother and his buddies... They would go there if they knew about your place. I wonder if... I forgot they were doing this or that Yellowstone was so close.
When did they go?
They went last... See, when did I hang out with my brother? It was on Sunday night, so they left Monday morning, and I think they may be leaving today to go home.
It is unlikely then.
Yeah.
Because there's a mountain pass between us and Yellowstone. So right now, it is under 20 feet of snow.
Oh. Well, they were going snowmobiling, but I don't know if they knew what the roads were going to be, or how they were going to get there. I think that was still a big question. So if the
road opens on in May, Memorial Day, Labor Day. Which one?
If I was going to have a guess, I'll bet they stopped at a Best Western and chilled. That's what I think. That's what I think. All right, Gwen, have a fantastic one. PhoenixPearlT.com. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you later.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you later. Bye. All right. Why did it flip the camera? Focus on that person. There we go. All right. Hey, that was great. Go check it out. Patreon.com. All the details are there, and you can check that out. And you also see me very skinny in a video. So there's that. All righty. What are we doing now? Oh, I know. How about this?
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
It's the news brought to you by...
Brought to you by, well, really quickly, the dream I had about Jury and Ashley last night.
Oh,
where,
crap. Tell me about that.
They were having a baby, and Jury had turned into Ward Cleaver. And that's really all that the dream was. So I'm kind of glad that we spent so much time with Gwen because there wasn't really much else to talk about with that weird dream. Anyway, news is also brought to you by I Thought I Knew How. It's a new podcast that follows the efforts of your host, Anne Frost, as she goes through the process of qualifying as a master knitter, and shares the lessons she learns about knitting and life, as well as product and pattern reviews, books worth adding to your fiber arts library, and other knitting-related experience. Mellow and clean, I Thought I Knew How is an oasis from the world of politics and true crime. Subscribe to I Thought I Knew How in iTunes or the podcast app of your choice, and follow your host as I Thought I Knew How on both Instagram and Ravelry. Is it too early to knit a fish sandwich?
Yes. Never should knit one. That's a bad idea. Hey, yes. Hold on a second. This dream, they were gonna have a baby. They were gonna have a baby,
and it was like starting to change Jury. So he was. You remember that for that hot minute, the Jury was starting to dress really nice for when he would do podcasts. Like he'd wear a button-up shirt and even a tie every once in a while.
Yeah, it didn't last very long, but he got really into it.
It was like that all the time. But he was also wearing one of those page boy newspaper hats. Like, it was very Ward Cleaver. It was like, he'd slowly started to turn into the unjury.
That's
basically.
Crazy. I love that idea. Yeah. I'm actually a big proponent of them having a kid one day. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I would love it if they did.
I can't imagine how it would change those two, and if I'd want to see them change like that.
Oh, I would totally want to see them change. Are you kidding? They'd be amazing parents. They'd be amazing parents.
They would be amazing parents, don't get me wrong. But watching, knowing the way they are, it's like all that would subside a little bit. It wouldn't disappear, but it would subside a little bit.
Their wackiness would carry on. Plus, she'd raise that kid to be some vegan little hippie kid. They could totally do it.
I don't know. I mean, they've got, they've got the influence of both parents there, so...
Mm-hmm. That's true.
She'd be trying to do vegan, and he'd be trying to do loud, obnoxious politics rambling.
Yeah. He'd say, "Hey, Dad, can I borrow the keys?" "Oh, yeah." you'd say.
Exactly. That's exactly what it'd say.
Hey, check this out. This is pretty awesome. 103-year-old lady was sworn in as the junior ranger at Grand Canyon National Park.
Wow, okay.
How fun is this? She's a junior ranger that's older than the national park itself.
Nice.
I don't know what the actual... I guess I could find out. Let's see. The Grand Canyon celebrates 100 years. So she is 3 years older than the Grand Canyon, at least as
well,
it's
3 years
official.
older than it getting designated as a national park.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they haven't been working on the Grand Canyon for the last 100 years just trying to make it good.
Right. It was the designation was 100 years ago.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
She says this. Her name is Rose Torfey. Rose. It's not a Roe. Rose Torfey.
Rose Torfey.
She was... I love Rose Torfey. It's so good. I always order it. Always, if I'm at that particular restaurant, I always get the Rose Torfey. She was on vacation at Grand Canyon National Park when she stopped in the park store. Quote, I started talking to people about my Junior Ranger program because it teaches kids to protect the canyon. She's super cute, this little shriveled up lady. She told Good Morning America, my parents taught me to care for the land, but not all kids have that. On February 26, 2019, the Grand Canyon celebrated its 100th year. The trip to the canyon was Torfey's second. The first was in 1985, she said, when she was able to walk around. This time she took in the sights with her wheelchair and was able to go to the edge. I think that's cute.
That is really cute.
I think it's a little weird that she's only been there 2 years, or 2 times. What I thought this would be like, she hangs around the park constantly
right,
and is
goes
always
all the
there.
time. Exactly, yeah.
It's like she made a visit in 85 and another one this year, and they made her a junior ranger. So, all right.
Right.
Or, yeah, junior. 103-year-old junior.
That's so awesome.
Junior. All right, let's check this out here. Rat cyborgs.
Rat cyborgs.
Yeah, cyborgs. I misspelled that this morning. Whoops.
That's all right. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm going to say cyborgs.
Well, let me ask you this. Does this scare you that science has now figured out a way for people to control rats with their minds?
I've been doing it for a while. I had this one that brought me pizza.
I would totally go for pizza bringing rat cyborgs. That'd be fun.
Sure. Who wouldn't?
Anyway, they figured this out. They have created human-controlled rat cyborgs. They're cyborgs because they have some hardware in them now that lets you do this. Unless you think this is some kind of media sensationalism, this is an actual title of a paper under discussion, which came out last week in Scientific Reports, and it says this: human mind control of rat cyborgs' continuous locomotion with wireless brain-to-brain interface. That's the start of something weird, man.
This is the start of a supervillain, right? I mean, it's going to be the Rat Master.
Well, interesting. So you think it'll be the guy who controls the rats, not a rat that becomes super intelligent or something?
No. It's going to be the guy who controls the rats. It's going to be like Mole Man or trying to think of other supervillains that controlled like a mass of creatures. I mean, Ant-Man kind of does it with ants, right?
Yeah. Aquaman does it with the fish. Yeah.
Aquaman does it with fish.
Yeah. Except they're not villains.
This would be Rat Master.
Be like Gene.
I'll get you, Rat Master.
It'd be like Gene Simmons in that movie where he made the little robot bugs walk around.
Runaway.
They weren't animals. Yeah, Runaway.
Send in the floater.
Send in the floater. Oh man. Excuse me. Well, now we'll be able to do it. Maybe you'll be that guy, Brian. Who knows?
Oh, now we're talking.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is not a lot of new stuff in science. There's been a number of steps in the past that let you control things with your mind. But this is the first known connection they've been able to make with another sentient sort of biological creature and have it do stuff. So here's my thinking. You get this cheap enough. One day this is how I feed my rats, or feed my snake rather. Because right now I feed him rats, but they're dead, frozen. I thaw them out and I dangle them in front of the rat or the snake and hope that Norman eats it. Okay.
I don't like where this is going.
So here's what I'm thinking. You get it's such a cheap technology that you just get a big batch of live rats. They all have the cyborg unit in their head. Yeah. And so what I do is I set them down to the cage and then I go left, go right, walk over there, poke your head in the thing. Like, I'll tell it how to go tempt the snake to eat it, and then have it behave in a way so that when the snake strikes, I'll also then say, all right, now relax your body and don't fight back, because I don't want to scratch the snake up.
Right. You're okay. You don't want to scratch the snake up, but you're okay with the snake eating half of a raspberry pie, basically.
I didn't think about that. They would have to eat the hardware, wouldn't it?
It would have to eat the hardware, yes. Exactly.
Eat half of a raspberry pie. It's funny both if you know what a raspberry pie is and not.
It kind of is, right.
That's really good. Well, anyway,
let's say you had a swarm of rats. Let's say once you got over the idea of feeding your snake, having the snake feed itself to having the rat feed itself to the snake.
Yeah.
Let's say you did have a horde. I don't know what the group of what a group of rats is called. A scurry or something. I think it's like a scurry of rats.
Scurry of rats. It sounds right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, let's say you were in control of a throng of rats. What would you really like? What would be your would you use them as like transportation? Would you just like ride on the back of a bunch of rats all running down the street?
I mean, ultimately,
because I would try that, like a surfboard. I'd be the
crowd
rat surfer.
Rat crowd surf your way to work. I like it.
Right.
By the way, it's a very boring name for a group of rats. It's literally called a group of rats. How lame is that?
No,
That's what it says. I looked it up. It says known in groups as group of rats. That's no good. See, what do you call a group?
Geotrist says a colony of rats. So does IB de Bloke.
Okay, let's see. I'm finding another link that might have.
Or no, IB de Bloke says it's it's called Congress.
A Congress of rats.
Well done.
Very nice.
Well done. No, I think it's called Congress.
Yeah, I like it. That's pretty good. Oh, I see. Not even a Congress of rats. It works either way.
Right. It does. Yes.
Congress is full of rats is the point.
A mischief of rats. Oh, see, I like that better.
A mischief
a plague
of
rats, a swarm of rats.
What do you call a group of rats? I have to create an account? No, study.com. F you. I just want to know the answer. Okay. A band of rats is called RATT. Get it? Band of rats.
Right. But they only go round and round.
Let's see. That's true. That's the only hit they ever had, so I'm glad you brought it up. Pack of rats. I can't find any others. This one says group, but that's Wikipedia. I don't know if that's correct. A nightmare of rats. There you go.
Oh, I like that one too.
A tadpole of rats.
John Florida, 1968, found collectivenouns.biz, and it's got collective nouns for animals. Rats is either a colony, a pack, a plague, or a swarm.
And not a mischief, because Sidian says a mischief.
Yeah, I don't see mischief in this
and
list.
And group's not in your list, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
English, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so all right, so I'd ride them around like a surfboard. I'd basically have my hands on my temples like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just carry you around town.
Exactly. Just like 50 rats all like carry me around. What would you do?
I would find whoever my worst enemies are. Okay, I don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They'd be standing in the street, looking at his newspaper, holding his coffee, and waiting for the bus. I would have my rats in a giant throng. Let's say it's 200 rats.
Mm-hmm.
In a single grouping, or whatever the word is, they would rush up onto this person, climb all over him, and then run away.
Nice.
Just to freak him the hell out. Like, just give him the worst possible scared, oh my gosh, what just happened? Don't bite him, don't hurt him, don't give him the plague, don't do any of that. Just rush up all over him, and he'd be going, ah! And then have him rush off to the next guy. That'd be pretty fun.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have them reenact the dance scene from Thriller.
Oh, like the Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody send me that clip. Well, I'll gift that one out. That was pretty good. Brian and I doing the freaking Thriller dance.
That's not as well synchronized as our dabbing last week.
No, sir, it was not. All right, what else we got here? Lightsabers are now officially recognized by the French Fencing Federation.
Oh, it's about time.
Yeah, these guys spend all day putting up barriers and fences. Oh no, that kind of fencing with the dueling fencing. Shing, 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 poke, poke, point, all that. Well, now you can do it with a lightsaber. I don't think you'll see him in the Olympics. Oh, I have mine somewhere too. Does yours make noise? Make sounds with it. You don't have any sounds that aren't you making sounds? Does it make a real sound?
No, because batteries. I think batteries are dead on this guy.
Well, it happens in Star Wars all the time.
It does, exactly. Batteries replace you must.
My homeness is. I don't have any batteries left.
Walgreens I must visit.
Energizer and Duracell I must choose between. All right, well, Ryan fiddles with that. I'll tell you about these.
Yes.
France's Fencing Federation, that's the FFF, have officially recognized lightsaber dueling, placing it alongside the traditional disciplines of épée, foil, and saber. I always use them when I have a car accident.
Injured in an accident? Call épée, foil, and saber.
Yeah, épée,
and we'll
foil,
get you
saber.
the money you deserve.
Yeah, épée always wants to stick me in the leg and stop me from having a reaction to peanut butter. Anyway. The lightsabers aren't actually like the ones wielded in Lethal Effect in the Star Wars movies, but the advent of the sport...
Oh, really?
You don't think these aren't actual, like...
Oh,
power
they're not
light-
actual beams of light? Oh, thanks for clearing that up.
They're not deadly concentrations of actual light? Weird. They're hoping what it does is it pulls kids in and have interest in fencing. That's the idea.
Oh, sure.
It's not that a bunch of adults are running around with these. It's just a way of saying, hey, these are cool too. You know, come on in. Let's get this going, and they can enter the sport that way. So
All right, let's see if we stalled long enough for me to actually...
All right, insert it. Oh,
There we go, yes.
I heard his thing. Oh.
It's like it's cold. It has to start.
Oh yeah, look at that. It has the motion and all that. I think I have the same one as you. Is it green? Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard to tell if it's green from here, but
Alexa, turn off studio lights.
oh yeah. Oh, look at that, you guys. He's doing the traditional Jedi dance. He's going. Come on, Vader. Strike me through.
I'm like trying to make sure it stays in frame.
Yeah, I have that exact same one.
Yeah.
We should have a duel next time we see each other.
We should. Let's take these to Vegas. I'm
Okay.
sure things will go well.
Yeah, you'll have to fly with yours. I'll put mine in the car. Final story here. Chris Hemsworth. You know, he's a very handsome, rugged man.
Yes.
Known for his Thor business. And what else has he done?
Men in Black
Lots of things.
coming up.
Yeah. You know, Chris Hemsworth, that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You're,
The see him.
your echo's talking to you.
That's because to turn on my studio lights, I have to say, time to work. I say her name and I say time to work. And she turns on all my studio lights and then gives me the forecast.
Oh, fantastic. You should turn all that off.
No, I had set that up specifically because I wanted that.
Isn't she annoy you some days with all that? You want to just get going?
Takes me like 5 seconds, and now I know the weather and I know what if I'm gonna take Daisy for a walk, what time I need to do it.
My studio lights come on automatically at 8 a.m., an hour before the show. And then if I need to turn one off...
Oh, I guess because you're down there an hour before the show working.
Yeah, usually. Not always, but they're all LED, so they're not taking any power really to run.
Right.
But if I say, here, I'll do it. Turn off left. There goes my left light. Now I'm in the dark. See? Turn on left. It's super simple.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can do that too with all the individual
I'm
ones.
jealous is what I'm saying. You figured out the fancy business.
Oh.
I just did the basic, and now it's
right.
now it's super boring. Oh, great! These turn on automatically. Guess what? They turn off at 9:30 automatically. Woo! Big deal. Look at my smart home being all smart. All right. Where are we? Oh, Chris Hemsworth. He is going to play Hulk Hogan in a biopic directed by Todd Phillips. How do we know Todd Phillips?
Todd. You just seem to know a lot of Todds.
Todd Phillips. Hold on. We got to find that out because that matters. Oops.
He's well known for doing documentaries featuring people sued by Gawker Media. Or people suing Gawker Media.
Yeah. Here he is, Todd Phillips, American producer, actor, screenwriter.
Oh, The Hangover. He did the
Oh,
Hangover
and it's
movies.
always okay. Road Trip, Old School, Starsky and Hutch,
Stars
Hangover
Born.
trilogy, War Dogs. Okay, so he's good.
The guy who directed The Hangover did A Star Is Born? That can't be right. Is that right?
Hold on a minute. He did stuff on.
Oh, I guess
Borat.
because he just does everything with Bradley Cooper, basically.
Did he really direct that?
Producer. He's the producer.
He's a
of
producer.
Star Is Born.
Okay, executive
Star Is
producer.
Born, Limitless, The Hangover. Basically everything that Bradley Cooper does that's not Marvel.
They must be producing partners or something.
Yeah, exactly. He directed the 3 Hangover movies, but he did not direct Star Is Born. That's right. Bradley Cooper directed Star Is Born. Of course he did, because he's
Yeah. Well, he's got some chops. Chris Hemsworth, Thor, MCU's Thor, is set to portray the wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan in this movie that reunites Todd Phillips with Scott Silver, the respective director and writer of the upcoming DC Comics movie The Joker. John Polano from Stronger will co-write the script with Silver. Stronger and Silver. Let's see. Deals for the Hogan project.
That's the first of the Daft Punk films.
Exactly. This is going to be a Netflix movie, so it'll probably be in some theatrical release because they like to do that now, but it'll also be on Netflix, so Netflix is closing the deal with them. Let's see. It's the Academy Award-winning producer behind Spotlight will also be involved in this. Produce it via Netflix's base Sugar 23 production company. Phillips and Bradley Cooper are also. So Bradley Cooper's part of the production as well. That's interesting. So you're right. They don't do anything without each other.
No, they're joined at the hip.
Yeah. One of the biggest names in wrestling of all time. Hogan was a fixture on TV sets in the 80s as part of World Wrestling Federation's wrestling hoo-ha over there. And now, in more modern days, kind of a mess. And one would assume that this biopic would cover from very early in his life, where Hemsworth would fit right in terms of his physique and everything else. And then later they'll make him look old, schlubby, and having sex with his best friend's
Oh my God,
girlfriend.
are they going to have like long hair, but bald on top, like basically the long Hulk Hogan mullet kind of thing?
Yeah, I would assume they give him all that. I want to see a trailer for this. Bad.
Yeah.
I want to see what that looks like. Because just to see what his face will look like on Hemsworth.
The mustache.
Yeah, that could be pretty good.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
The red jumpsuit.
genuinely curious about this. And I hope they show him making... I hope there's a part where he's making those terrible movies we saw for Film Sack. Like, what was that Hulk Hogan movie we saw where he was like a babysitter or something? No, he was from space. What was that called?
Well, yeah, the one we saw... Yeah, right. He was... what was that called?
Sucked so bad.
Had...
Like newspaper boy threw a paper at him and hit him. And he was like...
Right.
He exploded a melon in an old lady's face.
Jeez,
I don't remember the movie. Chat room. Space? No, not Space Babysitter.
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando.
There you go.
Not Mr. Nanny.
No. But also, Space Babysitter is funny.
Space Babysitter.
That's very funny.
I want to see a movie poster for Space Babysitter.
Oh, dude, in a heartbeat, I would check that out. That would be awesome. Anyway, so that's the deal there, and we'll all have to wait and see how that's going to look. But I wonder if Terry Jean Bollea will sue these guys, because this isn't going to be the prettiest picture of Hulk Hogan's life. There's no way.
I wouldn't think so. I don't know. I mean, it depends on if he's involved and says, let's focus more on my wrestling career. I don't want to say brother because that's a different guy, but
There's no way. No, that's him. He says brother.
oh, that's him. Oh, he said brother. I always think it's the snap into a slim gim. Jeez. Snap into a. I've got the baton. Snap into a Slim Jim guy.
The next 3 laps are yours. Take it. Yeah, he would say, "Oh yeah." He'd say that a lot.
Right. Yeah.
So Hulk Hogan's thing was, "Listen, brother.
Can you smell what Hulk Hogan is cooking, brother?"
Yeah, there it is. Put them all together. Yeah. But yeah, like, there's no way this thing is just a happy portrait. There's no way. Like,
No,
why would you
probably
even
not.
make
Not
it?
if they're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, nobody wants that. And it's Chris Hemsworth. You don't get him on board with the money he's worth without having a point that's beyond, like, let's make a pretty movie about the best parts of Bollea's life. Like, it's not going to happen. So we're going to go from, this is going to be one of those ones where it's like, he's young and ambitious and blah, 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 and he gets all big and whatever, and then the whole early wrestling stuff, and then the heyday of his fame, and then the downfall and all the coke he jammed up his nose, and all the ladies he slept with, and then
Suburban Commando. Will there be a montage of Chris Hemsworth in movies like Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando?
Oh, see, I just told you all that, but you missed that. You must have missed it. Chat room, you distracted Brian again. You did it again.
I did.
Remember that whole Suburban Commando thing I said? Wouldn't it be cool if Chris Hemsworth did a bunch of scenes in Suburban Commando?
Wouldn't it be great if he did a whole bunch of scenes of like Suburban Commando and Mr. Nanny? Did I ever tell you they got the memory of a goldfish?
Chat room. I blame the chat room. Knock it off, you guys. Knock it off.
I'm pulling up the information because I know what's coming next. I'm pulling up the information about of our performer for Indy in the Middle.
Wasn't he in with Sylvester Stallone in the arm wrestling movie, or am I getting that mixed up?
Over the Top?
Yeah.
Hold
on, I'm gonna look it up.
It was another wrestler that was like among the contestants.
87.
Meet me
Over the Top.
halfway across the sky.
Okay, it was Sylvester Stallone, Robert Loggia, Susan Blakely.
Rocky 2 had Hulk Hogan. That was the Stallone crossover.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
But there was another wrestler in Over the Top, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was like his main guy he fought.
His main foe? His main...
Is it Rick Zumwalt? No.
Robert Loggia?
Yeah, he was the one. His right arm was much bigger than his left.
I forgot that there was a character named, his son was Michael Hawk, or Mike for short.
Michael Hawk. Where's this?
Yeah, so Sylvester Stallone's character was Lincoln Hawk.
Oh, the kid. Right.
Yeah.
Because his
Mike
son. Yeah.
Hawk.
Mike Hawk. That's pretty good.
Just further proving that movie was a joke played on all of us.
A little bit. Yeah. It's an arm wrestling movie. How stupid is that?
Terry Funk was Rooker. Magic Schwartz. Come on now. I think the internet is just having fun with us now.
Magic Schwartz. Yeah, no, for real. This is why didn't we notice this when we watched that thing?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it and see if if we talked about Mike Hawk.
Yeah, Mike Hawk. That's how you have to say it, right?
That's how you have to say it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, explicit tag.
Hogan is a producer, and about the negative stuff, quote, the biopic will not delve into those years of attempt to encompass Hogan's entire life. Instead, sources say it will focus on the rise and is described as an origin story of the Hulkster and Hulkamania. Well, then I'm not as interested.
In that case, boring.
I'm not as interested in that. I want to just glorify the guy's freaking wrestling career. Yeah. I want all the nitty and the gritty. What's the point of that dumb movie? All right. We'll see.
Lame.
Yeah. His ornament was a hawk. You guys are right. on that stupid poster. Oh my gosh, that poster's so dumb. All right. Anyway, there's your deal. That's your thing, and we'll keep our eye on it. Okay, we'll let you guys know what happens as that story unfolds. In the meantime, we are going to take a break. We're going to play a song, and on the other side, Wendy Johnson Dunford will be here. My sister, a therapist, and she will help us with a question today that came from a listener. That's pretty intense stuff. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. Before all that, though, a song, please, Brian.
I have a song. And this song comes with a podcast recommendation. Tanner Goodman, friend of the show and purveyor of all things TMS, Viva TMS t-shirt related. Make sure to go check out Viva TMS Vegas if you want the unofficial or the official unofficial shirt of TMS Vegas. Anyway, he has started up a brand new podcast, and he and I have been working together on this for a while to get this thing set up, because one of the things I miss doing on Coverville, and I just haven't had the time to do it, is interviews with bands and artists that do covers. I did it for a while in the early days, and when you add 47 extra podcasts every week, it becomes difficult to add things to the podcast that you're currently doing. So he's taking that part over. Started a brand new podcast called Under the Covers, I approved it. It's okay. I'm allowing him to use that name. It is associated now with Coverville Media, and if you can find, you can find the website at utcinterviews.com. The podcast is also going to be on Google Play and iTunes. The very first episode is out, and it features a band called First to 11. They do an incredible cover of Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. But we're going to play one of their originals because that's what we do here for Indie in the Middle. This is their cover. This is their song, Thrill. This is really cool. First to 11 is the band. Vocalist reminds me a little bit of Amy Lee from Evanescence. They've got kind of that sound to them.
Yeah, I like that.
Really, really cool. The song, again, is called Thrill. Here's First to 11.
Regular Colgate brushing for most people instantly helps stop bad breath that starts in the mouth.
I had the Colgate girl and boy.
Brush 3 ways clean to both enjoy. Cleaner breath, cleaner taste, cleaner teeth.
3 ways clean is Colgate Clean. Help fight decay with Colgate. 3 ways clean is Colgate Clean.
I had hoped that war was a thing of the past. But here we go again.
You work at Attila to midnight? This is the morning stream.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Welcome back. How about a Wendy?
How about a Wendy?
I think she's online. It looks like she is. Let's bring her on in and see what's up with Wendy, my sister.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How are you, Wendy, my sister?
Good, my brother.
Hey, you know what I'm excited about? I have 2 wishbones from 2 Thanksgivings that are still being preserved and held for when you get here in August so that we can pull them and finally see who gets the wishes from 2 consecutive Thanksgivings we missed.
Wow, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they they're not biodegrading or any kind of weird, funky?
No, in fact, if anything, they're sort of calcifying and becoming harder.
Yeah, they get a little more brittle and probably will snap without much effort.
Yeah.
They will not bend, they will break.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how well you cheat when you get here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's not cheating when it's called knowledge, friend.
Oh,
physics.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's basically physics.
Great.
It's not hard.
Fine. Hey, here's your theme for today.
The kids now that are sucky.
All right, the kids now that are sucky. Did you get my reply on that email? I think that's a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, I did. I agree. I kind of made the decision, then just thought I should ask all of you about it.
You should. You totally.
You're doing a 5-cent psychiatric booth like Lucy Van Pelt at Viva TMS Vegas?
No, none of that. She's. Oh yeah, you guys should come to Vegas, but
yes, when I would love to come because there's 65 feet of snow yesterday. Please.
April 25th through 27th. Be there.
Yeah, you can come if you want to come.
What is it?
It's in Vegas at the lots of places. Basically, we're just kind of scattered all around. But the first night, we're doing this rad thing at the esports arena at the Luxor Hotel. And that's really cool. And that's going to be fun. And it's very video gamey, but also a lot of fun. So you don't have to play any games. You can just kind of show up.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 nights are like meetups and hangouts and all real standard stuff. Music the third night. Chuck band may play if we can work it out. We're still trying to figure that out. So, yeah, it could be a real good time. But it might just be, hey, Adam and Wendy need a weekend away. Just
exactly. Tell me the dates again. What was that? What?
April 25th through 27th.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Or you can visit Viva TMS Vegas for all the details.
There's details in there. It's also we got a room rate deal at the Plaza downtown. So there's cheaper rooms and all kinds of stuff. So
nice.
Anyway, we'll talk more. But I like your idea for August. I think that makes sense. And I feel like sometimes that whole reunion thing is like what's the old thing? Trip to Abilene. Where everybody's says, yeah, but everyone secretly they're going, but this could be better, but I guess we'll just go. And what you said makes a lot of sense. And it doesn't change what we get to actually do or anything.
Exactly.
Except everyone's is less poor after it. So it's a good idea.
Totally. Yes.
Anyway, there's some inside baseball for the Johnson family reunion, everybody. Now we get to the real question this week. Wendy, of course, a therapist, a actual counselor, someone who helps people with their real problems each and every day, multiple times a day. And on Thursdays, she comes on the show and she donates a bit of her time to do that for you, the listener. Sometimes it's emails, sometimes it's calls, sometimes it's live calls. Today it's an email, and I'm going to read it. We were a little last minute making sure this is the one, but I guess you're okay, so I'm okay. Here it is. Hi, Wendy and Scott, says a person I will not give a name for. Yeah, Brian. It says F you, Brian, in parentheses.
Exactly. I'll go dance with my lightsaber for the next 15 minutes.
It says I had called a few months back on Therapy Thursday, and I'm not sure if you remember exactly what happened to me. I'd called because I found out that my wife was having an emotional affair with a man that she worked with. I do remember this. You remember this, everybody? Everyone remembers this? Okay.
I totally remember this. Yes.
Anyway, after that, we were trying to work through a few things, and I all of a sudden had a bad case of kidney stones. Dude, those suck.
Yeah.
They suck. They're like, you know what it's like? It's like horrible labor pain without the nice result. You know? Because at least a lady has a baby, out comes the kid, and you're like, oh, I just want to love it and feed it and raise it and all that. When you poop out a kidney stone, you just go, that's gross. And you never look at it again. You flush it down the toilet. It's a terrible, terrible thing. Don't get kidney stones. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went off there for a minute. I ended up with a lodged kidney stone in my ureter? Whatever that is. Ureter? I've never heard of that. Is that just your urethra, but something else? I don't know. Anyway. I don't know what that is.
It is exactly
he is not a doctor.
No, I'm not. I don't even play one on TV. All right. I had it there for 6 days. We had to have 2 surgeries after to take care of the problem. This was in October. Then the day before Thanksgiving, my wife was having a work party at a local restaurant. Uh-oh. I had a particular gut feeling, so I drove over there in a friend's car and waited in the parking lot. I then caught my wife making out with another of her co-workers, meaning a different dude. I walked up behind them and leaned against the wall and said, how's it going? Oh, this is like a movie or something. Jeez Louise. The blood drained from her face, but where did it go? And the guy this is terrible. Why am I saying it this way? All right. Sorry. Let me put on my serious face. I got caffeine this morning. I'm a little whacked out. All right. Guy stepped up in my face and tried to fight me. I very calmly told him to get out of my face. I called her every name in the book. She cried and was saying that he was only a friend. Yeah, right, he says in a full paragraph. Then goes on to say, needless to say, I saved my money and moved out of the house at the end of December. She was still trying to maintain a friendship with me, texting me every day, telling me that she loves me. It was really starting to get into my head. I don't know what she wants from me. I told her this past Friday that we can't talk anymore, although we still have marriage business things to deal with, finances and things like that. I have been attending therapy for a few months now, but it doesn't seem to really be helping. I got pretty suicidal a few months ago and still deal with anxiety and depression from this whole ordeal. I still fight suicidal thoughts. So... a bit of a return to an old story, not old story, but a story from before. Clearly, this has escalated into something way worse. And wondering what should we do now? Because I feel like the advice we would have given then was contingent on a couple of things, right? Like that she might not do this, and they would find ways to reconcile.
Like maybe doing couples therapy or something like that.
Right.
I mean, I think parts of the story have gotten worse, but I think one part for me that feels like it's getting better is that he's getting himself out of that toxic relationship. I mean, that's a situation where I feel like he caught her the first time, found out that she was having an emotional affair, caught her a second time, and she was, was actually turning physical. It's like, yeah, you did the right thing by getting out of that situation, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Wendy?
Yeah, I would say he's halfway done, which is great, but the second half is actually the hard half, right? And it leads to some of the symptoms that he's experiencing, right? Like obviously intense stress and suicidal ideation and right? Like this has messed with his head. Now, part of why it's messed with his head is because she's literally making it mess with his head. So let's just look at her for a second. I don't know anything about her other than she wants what she can't have. Yeah, right. Yeah. There is a core, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why someone actually does that in a second. But take what she is essentially doing is she's got this great guy that she loves, and I don't doubt that she loves him, but she, and this maybe is a general thing for us to sort of talk about with relationships. Is so often I think people get married, and in those initial years of connection, it's like this person meets all my needs, right? So they love baseball like I love baseball. When it turns out they actually just love to be with you, and you happen to be watching baseball. And then as time goes on, they don't actually really like baseball. So you kind of stop, you think they've changed. No, they haven't changed. It's just that, sort of the brain damage has worn off, and now let's live real life. Okay, so this expectation that people are going to meet all their needs, when at its best, at its pinnacle of fantasticness, your spouse or partner will meet about 80% of your needs. There will be 20% on any given person, personality, hobbies, likes, dislikes, friendship needs, talking needs, etc., that your partner is not going to meet. And so maybe initially that was there in the relationship. And instead of a healthy version of, hey, this 20%, I need to actually, have friends that meet this need, or etc. She finds that she has emotional needs that she wasn't getting met in this relationship. So she went somewhere else for them. Now, when you're in a committed monogamous relationship where you both say, basically, it's just the two of us, that is obviously a dangerous thing. It'd be one thing if it's like she needs more chat time with her girlfriends, or she needs to go to the spa or whatever. Those things, he can't meet those needs. She can go meet them, etc. But this sort of emotional thing seems like a need. She has to look outside of what she has to gain. So that's why he can catch her cheating, he can walk away, and she can't let go. Because that 80% he provided, she doesn't have that with all the dudes she cheats with, right? So now you're just thinking, oh, what a horrible person. But let's just get into her brain for just 1 second. You don't do this normally. This is not a common, people do this. I shouldn't say common as in frequency, so much as there's something happening to a person who can do this in good conscience. It seems like she can anyway, right? Like he catches them and she's claiming it's not happening, and it's literally in that moment. Outside, in my mind, it's a Chili's. I don't know why.
Because it's definitely not going to be a fancy place.
No.
Yeah, it's got to be a Chili's.
Oh, their chips and salsa are really good, though. I just put that in there. Yeah.
So they just had chips and salsa. They're who in their adult
baby back rib
world?
sauce on you.
Yeah.
What adults go make out outside a restaurant like after a work party? Like, what is that?
Right.
That is baiting and creating that scenario, and it seems like that's probably something she's always done. Now, his awareness of how she's sort of behaved may have not been fully eyes wide open until now, and so that's painful. It's painful to feel like I fully trusted this person. I gave them my life. We had this plan. We were doing all these things together, and she has a different, weird, screwed up agenda, and she does. And so there's a couple of reasons that potentially is the cause. So let me just briefly go through what potentially it is. Of course, we don't know. He hasn't said. We have no idea. Right. But often what you find is, let's just take the genders specific to this case really quick. So women who have had a variety of backgrounds will have sort of obvious connections into their adult relationships. So for example, a very, very strict household, right? Like incredibly strict rules, and parents were very dominant, maybe one more than the other, but like there is no room to make mistakes. There's no room to not do what we think you should do, et cetera, all of that. That translates to someone in adulthood as like the secrecy of having your own thoughts or feelings, or that comes very naturally, right? So I don't know if that's the case, but that can be a very common backfiring of strict parenting style, is that then people's secret lives have all degrees of secretness and problematic behavior, because that sort of real honest experience with your own thoughts or feelings, you have no practice. So here you are in a relationship, maybe you're unhappy, you don't know how, before you go off and have an emotional affair, just sit down with your partner and say, I'm struggling, and what can we do about this, right? So a lot of skills are not developed in various home lives of people, right? So another one might be abuse or neglect, or some type of dynamic that, she had very little power. And so then you enter adulthood and you are seen as attractive by somebody else. That is an incredibly powerful feeling, especially if you are not used to feeling power. So maybe they got married young, and maybe, right off the bat, here's this guy who makes her feel great and it feels very powerful. And he's going along thinking, I'm having a normal relationship. And she's tasting power and having other, obviously coworkers is a problem for her. That, you know, they show interest. She clearly makes her intentions known. And there is a power trip that's happening that isn't just because she's a jerk. It's also because of maybe what happened to her before.
Right.
Does that make sense? Kind of that general idea that
totally
you play these things out as an adult. So his challenge is simply, so think about it. She can get a dude to eat chips and salsa and then make out with her outside the door, right? At a Chili's. Like she has some skills in this department of kind of, I don't know, mind melding a little bit, right? So he is, you know, that's not going to stop if she still wants his attention. She still wants the power. And maybe she genuinely does love him, but she's a complicated person to say she loves someone. And it's not straightforward, maybe like he thought it might be. So for her to continue to keep like hooks in him, she's highly motivated to do that, which is why it's completely messing with him. Right. It is incredibly cruel. And obviously she needs to stop doing this, but I'm going to just make a guess that she is not working on figuring this out because she still has lots of power. She can get him to maybe do certain things or feel certain ways. So she has some power there. She's obviously still got plenty of coworkers to get through or whatever, you know, like she's got power in her life. And so she is not rock bottom going, I need to make a change and stop being like this. But there will come a day, and it's usually when she's old and wrinkly, and she will realize that that power was called youth. And then she'll have to deal with her garbage. But in his case, he has to protect himself, like as if she's the enemy. And I know that's really hard because, of course, he obviously still really cares about her. Yeah. But that's why, like, you know, he's saying he's going into therapy, and my guess is, you know, he's probably talking about how painful it is and all these various things, and he's dealing with his world got completely flipped upside down. And that is a stage of getting help, and that's important to have that occur. But then the next steps are very much behavioral, almost like militaristic is the word I'm trying to say. Sort of like, where are the lines? Where are the boundaries? Because she is toxic for you. If you think about that, an average breakup, you're going to feel really sad. You may have a couple suicidal thoughts, but months and months later, if it's still sticking there, that means you're not grieving or something else is happening. And clearly she's in there messing with stuff, right? So he has got to find, and I would recommend he talks to his therapist about this, about what he has to do to protect himself from her, and how to do that, and how to, you know, do you block everything? Do you, you know, whatever that might look like, because he has to grieve and have time to heal. And every time she shows back up, it's like pushing replay and starting, you know, all of the work over and over again. So it isn't that he's not trying or it's not potentially helping. It's that she has the power to restart the grieving process every time she reaches out and messes with him.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't imagine what this must feel like. I mean, I can kind of, but it all happened like in high school context. Like to be in an adult relationship where this is happening must be just torturous. Like I can't even, and the fact that she keeps reaching out and contacting him is the part that's really bugging me, because I understand why she might be doing that, but it's just, you know, it's just stabbing him over and over. It's like, but no, I still love you. Oh, it's so high school. It's just so like where there are no consequences. In high school, who cares? So a girl leaves you for the football guy. Okay, well, it feels bad and you move on, but there were no real consequences. You know, there was a learning experience, and there was, you know, some emotional heft and pull or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's nothing like this committed thing where she says she's being good, and you just went through some rough medical business, and then you get a little hunch one day, go down to the Chili's, and you find that. I mean, we're just going to assume it's Chili's across the board here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be.
Yes. This wouldn't happen at an Applebee's.
It just... No, they'd all have food poisoning and nobody wants to kiss anybody.
Got riblets.
Yeah. The riblet basket. Anyway, I used to love that. But the point is, it's horrendous. I think he needs to put, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like he just needs to put as much distance between her and him as possible and take care of himself at this point. There's no kids, so that is not the part of this that's a problem. You deal with the divorce stuff and the paperwork and everything else. I mean, I say that as if it's easy. It's not. All of that's hard. But doesn't it, am I wrong to say that she needs to go somewhere else?
Yeah, oh, of course she does. But it's not so simple. And he's probably listening to this thinking, yeah, she was sexually abused. Or, yeah, she had parents that were blah, blah, blah. Like, there is some reason that she is as skilled at what she's doing as she is. Yeah. This is not, this is a trade you learn through your life. And so she's not going to quit. This is not something he can plan on her behaving. He is going to have to figure out how to protect himself. So that's the point of therapy is ultimately not, it's not some magical, like, okay, try this and this and this, and then she's going to stop and then you can move on with your life. There is a reason she is like, I just had a Girl Scout cookie. That's what I'm thinking about it. Like a toxic Girl Scout cookie. Like you can't stop eating it. But there's something that is you're so drawn to, and that's your business to figure out why. Yeah. And the goal ultimately is to see the situation for what it actually is and respect yourself more than what the cookie offers. And the cookie is always going to be tempting a little bit, but it's about figuring out your stuff. So I found a couple books that might be helpful. I think, one thing that happens, especially with men, and this may be a bad assumption here, friend, but so maybe I'm wrong, but there is a bit of like, do this and it's gone, fix this and it's over. Like, if she would just blank, or, there's a bit of like, it doesn't make sense what she's doing to him, because it's not a thing he would do. Right? Like there isn't the logic step by step sort of, this makes sense. And so there's a tendency to do steps that are to fix something and then get really frustrated because this is not something that is easily fixed by A, B, and C. So number one being having space, like literally blocking her from everything and having commitment with your therapist, with buddies, with whoever, that you do not allow contact for 1 year. And I'm going to tell you right now, she will run out of, like it's like a beast that needs feeding, right? Like it has to eat for this to work. And if you starve the beast, you're going to have a much better outcome. Maybe in a year you could have a conversation with her about something. It'd be one thing, but I would probably recommend not ever. Yeah. So recognizing that, yes, there's some behavioral boundaries that are really set up so that you have time to heal, because fixing it by talking to her, telling her to stop, whatever those things, it's not working. She has enough of a grip on you. You've got to recognize that there's that, because there's a stage in everyone's breakup that's this kind of messy situation where if the right circumstances presented themselves, he'd go right back, in theory, right? I'm not saying this woman's being abusive in like the maybe traditional sense, but psychologically, there's a bit of that going on. At least some manipulation, of course, right? But I've had clients who will describe at early phases of the ending of a relationship that's been abusive, that if they had been in the physical presence of that partner, they would have gone right back. So the only way and part of that is because there's literally behaviors that a controlling person does to keep you under their control. And so you think about, just like Medusa, you can't look at her hair, or like a hypnotist or something, right? Like you gotta plug your ears. You can't actually hear the stuff because it creates the trance that you get back into your same old role, and then here we go again, right? So to break that physical contact and social media contact, whatever versions of contact, completely would be really smart. And then here's a couple books just to throw out that are about getting like, it's like finding your mojo again a little bit, of just like, wait a minute, I deserve better than this. Like it's figuring out your garbage that led to this a little bit, but it's also like a reminder and a pattern of planning and growth and moving forward, that you're going to be fine. Because one of the things that gets created is like, she's the only one, and you're in the thick of it. So it's really hard to think, okay, there's someone out there that's better for me, that's healthier, that I can have a whole different life. We have to keep that in mind, which is why the suicidal thoughts are so easy to come, right? Because everything's ruined. Yeah. You know, and when everything's ruined, what is there left? And that's absolutely not true. And that's part of the sickness that you're in the middle of. So one of the books is called Getting Past Your Breakup.
Getting Past
Your Breakup. How to Turn a Devastating Loss into the Best Thing That Ever Happened to You.
There it is. Okay.
By Susan Elliott is the author of that one. And then another one is a Breakup Survival Guide for Men by Susanna Gold.
Okay. I'm just looking these up so people can get. Yeah, it looks like they're both on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yep.
And usually, and this book is really going to gear being cheated on as a guy, because there's a lot of books for the ladies, but there's not as many for the guy.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
Wow, that sounds very sexist.
Yeah, what's the deal there? Why the disparity there? What's going on with that?
I just think, hashtag me too. We're figuring it out now.
Very nice. Yeah, go check those out. Like I say, look like they're both Kindle and paperback editions available in stock with Prime shipping even. So that's awesome. I like when we give people resources, give them a little bit of homework to do. And one of the somebody is interesting. Somebody in the chat room earlier said, "Why would anybody want to have this sort of stuff aired on a public podcast or a radio show or any of that?" And I think it's an interesting thing that we haven't really talked about a lot. Like, why do we do this thing with Wendy? And even though this isn't like a new phenomenon, trying to help people via this method is as old as, I don't know, probably recorded history. There was always somebody in the village you would go to and get advice for your friend. And that might have an audience of 2 or 3. But then in the 20s with newspapers, you'd have columns. Somebody would write in and say, I've got this problem. And some columnists would try to answer that. And that continues as a tradition all the way up till today. That's still a thing people do. And there are modern examples of both television and radio where people call and try to get help. That's what we try to do here. And hopefully the other point of it is, if somebody else out there is having a similar experience or has run into this, they can also, by vicariousness, get the help they need, hopefully, and some resources. So, just so.
Well, we're always in different phases of awareness, like about a certain thing we're doing or a problem in our lives. You know, I often say to clients, like after a year of work or something, I'll say, "Hey, now imagine if the sentence I just said to you, imagine if I said that to you 2 years ago. What would have happened?" And it's always this like mind-blowing moment of like, I could never have heard it. I would have thought you were insane, or, like you were out to get me, or some version of like reality and honesty and healing and growth and that stuff. Like, we can't always hear it at the time we need it. And so someone may hear this and think, hey, I have a gut feeling to go to Chili's, and they're at that stage versus somebody else who's already been through it and can, do the thing that they need to do. I do find it really interesting, though, because I am hilariously doing this, but I am the opposite. I would never, ever publicly have someone talk about something I need help with, ever. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a result of having been a therapist or not, but I find like just posting your status on Facebook as like the freakiest human behavior.
You know what I love? This is what I love.
Question.
You can actually see it in the segment, because I'll say things to Wendy that are, I don't know, about us growing up or about something mom said or some other thing. And once in a while, you'll kind of hear Wendy like put up a bit of a wall, like, we're not going there. We're not talking about that today.
Yeah, like, hello.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Brian, but he doesn't need to hear this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see. That's the thing, though. Sometimes you need that external perspective of the people who know you a little bit but don't know you a lot to be able to say, oh, no, you're being crazy. You're thinking about this totally wrong. And da-da-da.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, and that value of like, it's the value of the collective a little bit. Like there's a bit of, okay, so here's a weird experience that of course I did not have until I started doing the show with you guys, is that I have clients that hear me through the show, and as soon as I meet them, they already trust me. Yeah. And cut off like 4 sessions.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, I don't have to sing a dance to make sure you know I'm safe? Oh, weird. Okay, let's do it.
Because that's that's normally part of your gig. That's like a huge part of what you do.
Absolutely. And it's made me kind of lazy, I have to be honest. Because it really is important for therapeutic process to happen. And so if I don't have to earn it, someone just comes with it. It's like, oh, wow, that's much quicker. But it's partly because, and my point is that this sort of, not that it's celebrity by any shot, but it's, I already have heard you. I know what you think. My gut already says it's okay. You're okay. And so when we're giving advice, this guy likes the jokes you two tell or whatever. Like he has a sense already that you care about him, even if you have never met him. And so that then gives some credibility to the advice. And then you're more willing to take it. I think that's been true of columnists all these years, It's that feeling of like, hey, this person who I can trust is telling me this thing, maybe I'll hear it. But your mother or your sister or your boyfriend could say the exact words to you and you'd be like, whatever, you just maybe won't hear it. So I think that's the difference. Some people need a little more of that. And then some people like me, I just don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Well, he knows he's going to get a combination of help and love and support and Chili's jokes.
Yeah.
Basically
Isn't that all you need? What else do you need? A little Chili's jokes on the top?
That's...
Yeah. Don't eat their potato crisp things. Those will give you the runny butts. That's a little bit of advice. Little side shot there for you.
The runny butts.
Yeah, the runny butts. All right. Well done. And chat room, thanks for all your participation today. There's been a lot of chatter in there today about the value in hearing other people's problems in their own lives and helping them deal with their own. If you at home have similar questions, issues, thoughts, you can always email us, themorningstream@gmail.com. You can call us and leave voicemails at 801-471-0462. We'll play those on the show. If you would like to ask your question that way, you never have to say who you are if you don't want. And as always, we'll occasionally do live calls on the show as well. Wendy, anything else before we go that you'd like to mention? Have we covered it all?
No.
Wendy Dunford on Instagram. People can follow you there. Speaking of social media, you always post just like cool shots of like a rad sunset or whatever. That's Wendy's thing.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, she's not doing duck face.
Now that I'm not in Sweden, literally nothing's interesting anymore.
She's not doing like duck face selfies or any freaking here's what I'm eating today. None of that. It's all, hey, look at the sunset and there's a lot of snow here. Goodbye.
Yeah, and it's butt cold, and no, it's great.
Well, that is a nice way to put it. Wendy, have a fantastic week, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week and beyond.
Okay, bye.
For as bombastic as your shout out was at the end there, her reply was less than
She's sick. She's just sick of my crap. She knows who I am too well.
Okay, yeah.
She is.
Okay, bye.
She's like, all right, whatever.
The best.
That was pretty great. That pretty much sums it up right there. Okay, we're done with the show. That means that I need to tell you fine folks a couple of things. Number one, a reminder, you got to get your tickets for TMS Vegas. That's happening at the end of April. We have all kinds of rad plans. You've heard us talk about it ad nauseum. Go over to the site and check it out for yourselves. VivaTMSVegas.com, and you can find a ticket link there to get your tickets. If you can't come but want the swag, you can get that individually if you want. If you are looking for the hotel rate stuff, that's also there. If you're looking for the sign up for how good you are at Overwatch for our Thursday night little overpants thing, that's there as well. It's all there.
Not just the sign up for how good you are; it's the sign up to play.
Yeah, and you add, if you want to play, you need to go sign up.
That's right.
If you don't want to play, we understand. You can be in the audience, but we're hoping a bunch of you want to play because that would be really fun.
Oh, be totally fun. Yeah, we got quite a few people playing. So I mean. We'll match you up with a team. You're going to make some new friends. You're going to find out who's going to be Tracer. I want to be Tracer. No, I want to be Tracer.
Yep.
We can't all be Tracer.
Yep.
And then we'll match you up and make it a nice fair fight. And Scott and I will be there to coach you on and provide the color commentary. That's the part I'm really excited about.
Yeah, color commentary is going to be a blast. We don't know what that setup is yet. Brian's going to have a better idea because he's physically seeing it in a couple of weeks.
I'm going to be there a week from tomorrow to take a look at it.
Yeah,
Woo!
Which is awesome. So that'll give us a better idea of what's happening, but also it's just going to be rad. Like, I don't think you care if you're terrible. Brian's terrible, and we're gonna make him play.
I'm terrible. Oh, I'll be the first to admit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna play. I'm making the commitment right now. I'm gonna do it.
It's all just for funs, and we're gonna have medals for the winners, so it's a little more than just for funs. But the medals are gonna be rad, and yeah, you gotta come and show up to it. All right, that's it. Let's get out of here. Do you have a song to play here at the end? I should say all the other links. Patreon.com/TMS, frogpants.com/TMS, themorningstream@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter, Coverville Scott Johnson Morning Stream. As far as programming today, 12 noon to 2, I will be playing the first bits of Outlast 2, despite my better judgment. I will be doing that nightmarish thing today on Frog Pants Plays. So stay here or show up then and watch it, or catch it on YouTube later, whatever you'd rather do. But that's happening today. And big thanks to Jack. I think it was Jack Fox who sent me that Outlast code. I guess thanks, and also
nice.
Why do you hate me so bad? So there's that.
That's what it is.
Your impressions of my screams are better than my screams. Those are really good. And then what else?
Oh, shite!
Shit donkeys.
Potatoes.
What else is happening today? Today's Thursday. Okay, my brain is fried because we have to clear out my. We're getting the rest of our floor done tomorrow, and we have to move everything out into the hall and the living room, which means I got to sleep in a whole. Oh, it's gonna suck. Tonight's gonna suck. But I swear there was another show. What am I thinking of?
There is for me. I'm doing the first 5-10 minutes of the Pokemon Go podcast later today. We're going to talk about what's going on this weekend. 2 big events. Latias comes back for limited time rating, and something else is going on. Oh, yeah. Clambert, or whatever his name is. He's a goofy-looking clam pearl. He's like half oyster, half pearl. He's weird and sexual-looking. There's going to be tasks at Pokestops all weekend long for you to, or no, I guess not all weekend long, for a couple hours this weekend for you to do if you want clam pearl.
Okay, clam pearl tea. Got it. Nailed it.
Clam pearl tea.
Also, oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Skim was on Thursdays, but now it's on Sundays. Yeah. That's on Sundays now. So, all right, real quick, I guess I did say I'd play that Soma thing. This is the end of my Scream clips. Except today I'll probably produce some. But anyway, I promised Jamie I'd play this today, so I'm going to play it today. Jamie at TMS Mashups on Twitter. You can find him at patreon.com/TMS Mashups. All right, check this out. This is short. Okay, we are doing it, guys. What? She's scary. I don't like her at all. Get up. Open this. Get the F out. Damn it. I have to go there. I can't look at her. Oh my gosh. This game sucks. Wait, why are the lights going off again? Oh no. No, you don't. I don't like her at all. Damn it. There's a butthole if I need it. What's with all the ladies? Shit. Okay, that's great. Holy shit. Oh, shit! That is some horse shit! Oh, shit! Put a cork in your butthole. Oh, no! Oh, shit. Oh, what the shit? Oh, no. Bleh. Holy McShitty pants. Ooh, a butthole. Shit fish. No, shit. Oh, Lord. You ate my robot. Oh, nope. No, sir. Hold on a second. No one said anything about water spiders at the bottom of the ocean. Sick. What the frick was that? What? That was bullshit. Let's find a butthole. I need one bad. Oh, shit! This place sucks. He's coming. Oh, he's coming, dude. Oh, I don't know where to go. Oh, shit! A butthole. Shit. La. Get out. You guys, I can't do it. Shut up, dick. The shitter. Holy shit. Shit. The best butthole in the game. The best butthole in the whole game. Right here. Look at that thing. Oh, put it in. Oh, what the frick is that? Shit. Gosh, dang it. Run, jackass. A butthole. That's the game? Well, that's a dark ending, dude. I feel pretty good about that. Woo.
Jeez Louise.
All right, that might have been the best one. That's really funny. Boy, there are some moments in there where I go full terror. I was really scared.
I could tell. That was the most freaked out I've heard you in for a lot of these. Holy mackerel!
There's something about Soma in particular that is just unsettling, and I think it's that you don't have weapons. You never can fight with anything. You just have to hide and run and be quicker than that whatever thing is chasing you. It was freaking awful. Anyway, play the game though. It's great. Thumbs up. That's it for the show. Brian has music. He will play it now.
I do. This is going out to Xander, who says, "Hey, Scott and Brian, Saturday the 23rd is my wife's 30th birthday, so I wanted to submit a request for a cheesy song that always puts a smile on her face. We've been together for a little over 10 years now, so we got to spend our entire 20s together, helping each other get through the crazy transition into adulthood. Back when we started dating, I decided to sing the song for her, horrible singing voice and all, and for some reason she didn't kick me to the curb right then and there. Several years later at our wedding, her sister played the ukulele and sang the song for our first dance. It would mean a lot if you could play a cover of I'm Yours by Jason Mraz to brighten her special day. P.S. I want to give a shout out to Nicole for giving us some advice at Nertacular to move away from Missouri while we're still young and don't have kids. It took a leap of faith, but we moved to Florida and haven't regretted the decision one bit. Big thanks to the whole Frog Pants family. We are two of the many lives you've helped make better." Oh, Xander, that's so cool. Well,
yeah, that's nice.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Xander. I don't think he says what her name is. So happy birthday, Mrs. Xander. And this one goes out to you. The specific one that he requested was the cover by Straight No Chaser, where they combine Jason Mraz's I'm Yours with Israel Kamakaviva-Ole's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's not so much a cover of Over the Rainbow as it is a cover of Israel Kaviva-Ole's version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Anyway, here it is. Straight No Chaser, I'm Yours.
All right, we'll play it now, and we'll be back for the PM edition of the show tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. So come on back then and be a part of our weird business. Sorry, I'm stalling because I don't have the right button. All right, now I'm not stalling. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you then. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Oh, I don't have a thing to play.
Now, be sure to inspect the buttocks.
There we go. Okay, we are doing it, guys. Stop. Okay. Jeez, I wasn't prepared. Well done, everyone. Nice show. Well done.